Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. Selections is the latest exhibit by curator Larry Ossei-Mensah, known for using contemporary art in pieces that redefine cultural diversity. And this new exhibit highlights 4 emerging artists who push the boundaries of their artwork through an array of mediums. And joining us now to share more, we welcome Selections curator Larry Ossei-Mensah and artists Kenny Rivero and Emily Henrietta. Hello and welcome, and thank you for being here with us.
Hello, thank you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi,
Yes, wonderful work. We are all about inclusion today, and we are putting that out into the universe every opportunity we have.
Yes.
So it's very wonderful. I mean, it's extremely wonderful to actually have this conversation with you guys. I was able to review some of the work that you have chosen, and the one thing I was able to see aside from colors is the various mediums in just radiating spirituality I mean, of course, that's my interpretation. You would have to go see for yourself. But just out of curiosity, how do you select your artists?
So for me, I look at this as a collaborative process. So a lot of the artists that I particularly selected for this show I've been engaged in conversation with for a number of years. And so I'm always thinking about their work, conversations that we were having, and trying to find the correct context to put all the work together. And so I think for this show particularly, it's at Elizabeth D, which is in Harlem on 126 and 5th Avenue. I was really interested in highlighting the work of artists who live uptown in the Bronx and really kind of celebrating the creativity of my community as a Bronxite, I'm born and raised, and showcasing that there's amazing talent right within I Missed.
That's great. And just before we go to the artists, how did you become a curator?
The short
it takes
story,
a certain skill set to be able to do that.
The short story is that essentially I started out doing photography. So I did my grad school in Europe, and I was documenting that experience for friends of mine in the Bronx who I knew would probably never see a lot of these places. And then when I came back, I was exhibiting, and then through meeting other artists, I realized that there was more of a need for platforms to be created for artists,
Right.
and particularly emerging artists, to have their work shown. And so pretty much for the last 10 years, I've been exhibiting exhibitions, specifically highlighting emerging artists from all different backgrounds to really get their voices out there.
Beautiful, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your service. Yes, no, it's a big deal because, you know, artists who assist other artists, it's still in the same realm, but it takes something extra to be able to be the space for the
Exactly.
artist to be exhibited.
Exactly.
Even though you're establishing the exhibitions,
Yeah.
right? And so Kenny, I've been dying to talk to you.
Okay.
So Kenny's one of the artists being exhibited, and I was very fascinated with your work, and the of course it does have an urban flavor and messaging, but there's also this other undertone, and I was focused primarily on the fact that you use eyes a lot. So talk about that.
Well, the eyes in the work have a lot to do with witness, this idea of witness, this idea of kind of growing up in a space where, like, I'm trying to negotiate feeling neglected by certain spaces in certain institutions, and then eyes being like this constant presence and this constant reminder that ancestors are with you, that, you know, your community is with you, whether or not you're by yourself or with people. So this idea of always being surrounded.
This idea of always being surrounded, but I also noticed that you tend to put the eyes in various areas of the face, especially the forehead, which of course represents the third eye.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, inquiring minds want to know, are you a spiritualist?
I would say I'm more shamanistic than spiritualist.
Oh, eso lo mismo.
Yeah, it is. You're right. But in a lot of ways, I like to have a flexible practice with my spirituality, where I'm not trying to define it as one thing, but really trying to understand the sensibilities behind everything and using different languages at my disposal to talk about these things.
It
So,
shows in your work.
Thanks.
Yeah, it definitely spoke to me.
Cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
it takes one to know one.
Cool.
All right, so I want to make sure I get your Emily.
Yes.
Emily, yeah, because I got stuck on Henrietta, pero it's Emily. So let's talk a little bit about you and your approach to your work.
Well, something in terms of talking about specific focus that I think I have a little bit in common with Kenny is my most recent body of work uses hands as sort of a symbol in the work, and I think that there's sort of an interesting connection of eyes and hands. I think are really important parts of the human body that are used for eyes look at something and hands sort of do something, and so a lot of my work really is about how my body kind of is a conduit for making and sort of trying to express that in the work, that there's a person that's making all of these things, and that's sort of a metaphor for how we all sort of make the world.
So can I just share with you
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
interpretation?
Sure, go ahead, please.
With my interpretation was there's something about texture that you
Yeah,
have.
yeah, totally. Tactility.
Yes. Like I don't know if the paintings themselves, because obviously I was looking at it through online. Oh, we're looking at some of them right now. They actually, but I don't know if they're actually dimensional.
They are dimensional, yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
Because I was looking at them
Yeah.
online, but I noticed, I said, wow, are these different items? I don't know. I just picked up texture. That's the word that came to my thoughts.
Yeah, tactility is really important, and layers are important too, that they're these sort of, moving through the world is sort of a layered experience, that you sort of see something and then you see something else, or something's behind something else. So in one piece I'm trying to compress that experience of sort of seeing the world and seeing that dimensionality in sort of a small snapshot that has dimension and has layers and has tactility and really has some sort of character that resonates with something that we see in the world every day.
Nice. So what I'm picking up here is that your curation this time around has a lot to do with dimension.
Dimension, experimentation, rigor. I think also there's a bit of an autobiographical component to as well. Like when I look at, Kenny's work, Kenny being from Washington Heights, you see elements of that. You look at Emily's work, the actual material, there's a softness to it, but it's very tough. Mm-hmm. And getting to know Emily, I feel like that kind of represents her spirit and personality. And then we also have Derek Forger, who's in Harlem, and then Lucia Harrell, who's a Bronxite as well. Two other artists who will round out the four that are in the exhibition.
So the final question is, did you purposely choose to open tomorrow?
Yes. I mean, I think.
You know why?
Yeah, no, I mean.
Because I told you.
I mean, I think,
unite.
Yeah, I mean, looking at where we're going, I'm a firm believer that the arts is going to be an important tool to help us navigate and reconcile a lot of our feelings, a lot of our ideas, but then also be a platform to really get our voices out there. And so I think we're all feeling different feelings, and I think art is just kind of a great platform to kind of help us come together and unite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here today, and thank you for definitely bringing in this
Yeah.
fabulous vibration.
Yeah. And the opening is tomorrow, 5 to 8, Elizabeth D, 126 and 5th Avenue.
Thank you again, Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Kenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Henrietta. That's it. I'm just going to call you. It just sounds better. All right. So once again, Selections, the new exhibit by Larry Ossei-Mensah begins Saturday, January 21st and runs through February 25th at the Elizabeth D Gallery, located on 2037 5th Avenue in Manhattan. And for more information on the exhibit, visit elizabethd.com/exhibits. Okay, we're taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open after this.